It's a Track Stitch podcast coming to you live from the corporate global headquarters here in Auckland, New Zealand. And to celebrate the occasion, we have a very special guest for you. Who is it? Stick around in a few seconds. You are going to find out, because first, bringing him in as always, it's a Track Stitch band.
Champion, Riders bearing down on top of Ngugi. Ngugi digs deep and he's got no ball. And Andrew Lloyd wins it up.
Récupéré ensuite chez lui au Maroc à Ifrane.
La Web, il est parti à la Web, il a tenté le coup du siècle là.
Oui,
Surprendre tout le monde. Au 800.
Final of the men's 10,000 meters in 19.
Not the ball out. Oh, it looks to be. Who else is in the race? The wave is there. The confidence is there.
Okay, recording the podcast. It is Sunday, December the 7th. And we have a very, very special guest joining us, a man dear to our hearts. He is a legend of New Zealand running in the 90s. And I mean that seriously, and we'll get into it. But this man here, he was a real central figure for guys like myself and Shane growing up in the sport. We welcome the one and only. And by the way, if you are a fan of the podcast, you will have seen him in the video opening montage every single week. It is the one and only Phil PC Clode. Phil,
Hey,
how you
thanks,
doing?
Wes. Thank you for
Awesome.
the intro, Jace.
Thank you for coming on.
Roadie.
Welcome, mate.
Yeah.
It's great to have you. The man, the myth, the legend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
The
probably
man.
going a bit far.
This is your city, PC.
Well, one of the ones that I've lived in.
To the viewers
Certainly
who
now.
don't, to the viewers
Certainly
who
now
don't
I'm
know
an
Phil,
Aucklander.
Phil's the man behind many an apocryphal story. The famous Waitakere Ranges, the grass track at Ilam. There's many
yes.
apocryphal stories out there of Clody.
Stefan Franca and Whakatane.
Oh, yes. Took him over some hills. Made him suffer in the heat.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
Hey, so PC, basically what we're going to do is just go over, your life in the sport. This is what we love doing with the guests, just talking about how you got into the sport, your heroes growing up. What was it like sort of running in this great era of, track and field in New Zealand and in Australia back in sort of this golden era, I guess you could say, the 90s. And then, one thing with you is that you were one of the, I mean this seriously, one of the most diverse runners that New Zealand's ever had. I mean, we talked a while ago about Dixon and how his, level of diversity from all distances on the track through cross country to the marathon. But you're not far behind, mate, just in terms of that diversity. And we'll just talk about some of your experiences and then just, what you're up to these days.
Ooh.
You become a coach of some repute. You've got some stuff going on. How's that sound?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we get into it?
Yeah.
So, how'd you get into running, mate?
Ooh. So when I was 8 years old,
Yeah.
my brother Brent, who actually is an Olympic canoeist,
Yeah.
he was a runner and was quite good at school.
Mhm.
And I'd sort of follow him into everything. So I played hockey and I started running. And then he goes, "You're better at running than I am." And he decided then he was going to be a surf lifesaver, and Phil was left to running. And I am a land crab. I like
Yeah.
the water, but I like being on top of it rather than in it.
Yeah.
And so running was natural to me. And 8 years old, a little midget. And I think after a year I won the Waikato title. So, little blonde thing.
Yeah.
And ran in Waikato Bay of Plenty, trained quite hard actually with the local club in Whakatane, the Joneses, Neil Jones, and I think his son is actually an ultra runner now, a marathon runner, very, very good runner. The whole family took me into their family because they just went around the country running and with the club.
Awesome.
And gave me my start and used to say to me, "Go home because you're running too much," which is probably I should have heeded more of it. But they were like family to me because my parents split up when I was like 13. So, yeah. So through that time, they were really important to me.
Yeah.
Keeping me in the straight and narrow.
Meaty.
Were you good? Were you good as a high schooler? Good. Jason and I are actually talking about this today. We don't actually know. We know you're a great in your early 20s, but what were you like? All this
school?
talk about Sam Ruthe and all his exploits. What were you like at school?
So I only ran once at school.
Oh, right.
And that was in Hastings, your home.
Yeah. Well, close enough.
In
cross country?
1980, I ran the road champs.
Oh, wow.
As like what is it, year 10 now.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
that was it. A year later, I was injured and injured for like 4 years because I had a stress fracture on the top of my femur.
All right.
On my hip bone. And it took a long time for it to settle down.
Because
that's going to be an interesting one, Jason, because with all this furor around Sam Ruthe and particularly after what he did today in that 800, which we'll get to,
you
sound like you had a pretty mild, for a guy with, limitless potential, you had a pretty mild, background as a schoolboy. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, I mean, I was training and I was young and I was overdoing it, and that's why I got an injury. And back in those days, I think Nikes had just started coming out. I think we ran in my first pair of Nikes with the red. What were they? The red.
I know the ones you
with
made.
the black waffle sole.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Mum was working for Hellensteins, and she got them specially for me, which was awesome.
So did you ever run New Zealand secondary schools coming through? Because we were talking about
only that road race.
It doesn't
Only
sound
the
like
road
you were
race.
That road
over-raced.
race?
Doesn't sound like you're
Once.
over-raced
Wow.
then, Phil.
Well, I did in training do like a half marathon,
Yeah.
and so I was only 13, 14. So that's a lot. That was a lot for the age.
Yeah.
I would never put my kids through that.
No.
The kids I coach now.
Okay.
So, okay, you're a young Kiwi, I guess, running. You're coming up in the sport in sort of this late 70s, early 80s,
Yep.
right? Who are you? Were your heroes in the sport the same as a lot of young New Zealand athletes at the time? The Peter Snells. Obviously, you knew who those guys were. Snell,
Not so
Halberg,
much.
Walker. Was
Yeah.
Walker big for you?
Like Walker was the dog.
The guy,
he
yeah.
was the guy.
Dixon, Quacks.
Because I was when Dick Taylor and John Walker. Well, John Walker broke onto the scene in 1974. I was 9 years old, and that had quite a big impact because I was running, and I was like, "Wow, this guy's next level."
Yeah.
So only Kiwis can do this. And
Yeah.
then he went on. I was 11, and he won the Olympic title. So
Awesome.
I remember watching that at school. I think it was on a black and white TV or whatever.
Wow.
But we actually had that live at school watching it, and pretty exciting to have, your hero there.
Exactly.
Relatable
Nailing
guy
it. Really
too, right?
relatable. Yeah, really relatable.
So then, okay, you're sort of this. You don't have a really big New Zealand secondary schools or high school career.
No.
How do things kick off for you after school? Because it seemed like then, Shana and I we were way too young to even sort of know about you then. But it seemed like you sort of burst onto the scene. And how did you get into? Because you just said you were running road race at New Zealand secondary schools. How did you even get into running on the track? And how does your career sort of explode after secondary schools? Because we're going to get into this in a second. Like this international career wearing the black singlet gets pretty, it's quite impressive. How does this happen?
Well, because I'd been injured for so long, I thought it was all over. And then when I went to art school in Canterbury, Ireland Art School, and I was in my intermediate year, and I was doing a little bit of jogging just to stay fit. And then I ended up on the rec centre down, behind the university.
Yep.
And there was an athletic track there, and there was a coach there called Bob Greaves, and he had a group of kids about the same age as me, Shane Watts, Elliot Drayton, Kerry Fast. There was a whole pile of guys, Dave Drummond, his brother, and a whole lot of girls as well. And they were all similar age to me, 18-year-olds.
Yep.
And they were running around the track working out, and I think Elliot was like the national second. He was second, or he'd won a national schools title or something. And I arrived and said to Shark, "Can I join in for a workout.
Yeah.
And I just started running, and it was like, because in that time I'd grown, I got rid of the injuries, and I had an interest, outlying sort of interest in the sport and watching it, but I wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
And then I got to Canterbury, and it was like, I've grown. By then I was about 6 foot tall. Still skinny little runner,
Yeah.
but I'd actually grown 6 inches.
Yeah.
In like a year and a half. So I grew late. And then I started training with the boys, and the rest of it was like just connecting with them and getting into the discipline of actually training. And we would train quite hard actually, and I didn't have a problem with it. It was really great.
Nice.
And we're all good mates,
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's what got me into it. And then it was within a year I was really an 8:15 runner at that time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'd found my speed wheels, if you know what I mean. It was like I could handle the distance, doing all the distance work. So I was a good cross-country runner because of that. And then track was like exciting because I had rubbish times, like 4:21 and
For the 1500?
yeah,
not for the
from
mile.
like a 13-year-old time, and
Wow.
which was probably okay when you're 13 and you're running around a grass track. It was all right.
Yeah.
But like I wasn't very quick at anything, 400, 800.
Yeah.
And then because I'd grown, I found my legs and found my speed as well, which was fantastic because we could go and do the work. And I never had a problem doing the training involved. I love that part.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, awesome. There you go. So your first, we can get into it because I think this is the most fascinating part from you. We just mentioned it with your legendary diversity across all these events. You gave me the rundown just before of everything. It was almost too much. I can't remember all of it, but your international career in the black singlet starts Auckland 88 World Cross Country.
No, actually.
Oh.
All
right.
A guy from the selector from Dunedin.
Yeah.
Can't remember his name now. Selected me for the Scullerup Steeples that were ran out the back of, which is a cross country race. It's 10K. The back of QE2. QE2 is not there anymore, but it was run around the back, and it was quite well known as a cross country race in New Zealand, really. And it was kind of the South Island champs of cross-country running before you went to the Nationals. And we raced Australia.
All right.
So I got picked for New Zealand.
Okay. When was that?
Oh, it would have been 85,
All right.
86.
Okay. But we're talking the big boys here. World Cross.
No, there was the big stuff was 88 was my first big gig.
Okay. So 88 World Cross. I'm just going to reel off a few of these. You were 5-time rep at World Cross, 88, 90, 91, 96 and 2000. World Indoors in 93, Commonwealth Games 94. The big one for you, World Championship Stuttgart 93. You ran the 5K. Yep. So you you've got this great career of, just being so good across all these distances. What was, just off that list I just gave, what were kind of the events that really stuck out for you as just really exciting and awesome? Because they're all very different, right? World Indoors, World Cross, World Champs, Commonwealth Games.
Honestly, probably of all of the races, the most exciting one was the 3K indoor in Toronto.
Wow.
Which I'd never done.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Just missed the final.
Yeah.
And it was up against some good runners in those days.
Yeah.
They're good runners now.
Well, take us back. Who was there?
Eric de Boos.
I remember him.
Irish man.
Yep.
I think he won it.
Coughlin?
No, it was after.
Oh, no,
it was,
sorry. Marcus
Marcus
O'Sullivan?
It was either Marcus or Rafe, not the boy that's got sorry mate.
No, you're right.
The guy that's got Parkinson's, who's the Irish miler. He was in the States, or he still is.
Yeah, I know.
High up, and you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think he won it that year. John Mayotte.
Mayock, yeah.
Yeah, he gave me a good shove, I think, last 200 metres.
Awesome.
Because, you learn as you go. And, yeah, no, it was quite exciting. And, yeah, that very, very competitive flight, 3 heats. And, Peter O'Donoghue ran that day.
Yep.
For New Zealand. That would have been his last, probably, race for New Zealand.
That's right.
In the 3K. So both of us, unfortunately, missed out on the final.
Yeah.
And the final was like 7:45 or something.
Right.
Which is pretty solid.
It's probably your best distance, Clody, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, it was. And I think that's probably why I liked it so much. My range was sort of, my sweet spot, I think, was sort of a mile to 3K.
I agree.
And then after 3K, I kind of, it got really uncomfortable. I couldn't live in that space.
You're ahead of your time because now that's like the preeminent milers of the generation are all basically 1,500 3K guys. They're not many 8:15 guys anymore.
Well, yeah, I honestly, the way the sport's evolved is you have to have a miling 1,500 speed to be at the end of a 10K or a 5K because it's just nuts how people run now. It's staggering how incredibly competitive they are.
You have been throughout your career and the time I've known you the last 30 odd years an ardent Lydiard man coached by John Davies, drinking the Kool-Aid, so to speak, and right in there building that but and it's not bad Kool-Aid to be drinking anyway. It's a lot better than just doing speed work all the time. But here's an interesting one for you though. Especially given you're a coach these days, with this move to this glamorization of double threshold and it seems like the falling away of periodization and base phases, would you prepare differently given your knowledge of your self-awareness of your own physiology now, or do you still incorporate a lot of that sort of Lydia Davies periodization in there?
I believe in the training, so I'm still a Lydiard man in terms of a direct line from it. Lydiard, then John, and then me. Yep. And having watched it and observed how good it is for the kids, I especially coach. That it's a wonderful base for them to learn how to actually be runners, to get depth of their endurance, to get probably phased track work, like getting them to understand why you're doing long work now, this week or this month, and then you're doing hill work here.
So you're still a periodization guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Versus like the full year
rather
tap.
than this on tap stuff that's going on.
11 months of the year.
Yeah, and I'm not sure necessarily people know when to peak now. Whereas with Lydiard, it was just, that's why they were so good. And Walker and Dixon, like you were saying, they were all kind of, build up peak athletes. There was a phasing in, which is periodization, and it works a treat, I think. And it's the basis of any athletic performance, really. And if you have a look at these good guys now, girls and guys, they have quite a bit of endurance in them as it is anyway.
Yeah.
It's just done differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back a little bit more back to the races, right? You have this back, you're running now, I would say like a locked in New Zealand rep, right? You're representing New Zealand over cross indoors on the track. What was it? This is where Shane and I know you really from. The New Zealand circuit, the Aussie circuit back in the 90s. What was it like running the circuit back then? It was so exciting because we only had a little taste of it when we were, I got to run in the Marley Games in 99 and 2000, I think. But you had like that whole 90s because that was really fun after Com Games, right? That set off sort of the track series in New Zealand and Australia. And then with Sydney coming up in the year 2000, that's what Justin talked about a couple of weeks ago on the pod, is that there was a lot of investment back into Aussie track and field. So those meets like Sydney and Melbourne, etc., became really a big deal. And you were really part of it. You were going on, taking on the guys. You were going over running against Doyle and Lloydie and
they'd come here.
they'd come here.
Yeah,
So so what was that like? What was the smoke freeze like? What were the Marlies like?
Well, it actually started back just after the Commonwealth Games in 1990 with the mobile. It was the mobile
that's right.
series, and then it was the smoke free
Smoke
series,
freeze, yeah.
and then smoke free kind of got out of the sport, and John and Dick brought on Marley.
Right.
And because I was coached by one of the guys that was running the track
John
meet,
Davies,
and
Olympic
I
bronze medalist.
yeah, I was quite stoked to actually be targeting it as an events to get ready for.
Yeah.
And they always had some very, very good runners from around the world to race against us. So we always had that competition, and those guys weren't necessarily in season, so it kind of made it quite tough for them. But the Aussies definitely, they were, there was Simon Doyle would come across, he ran a 3K, and when I got my PB in Wellington, that was just, I thought, hey, here's a guy that's run 3:31 and should be able to smoke me, and I got down the back straight with him and thought, hey, I've got the wheels here.
Time to unleash.
Yeah, it was like, holy moly, taking down a number one 1,500 meter run in the world.
He was.
He was
Wow.
that year, I think.
He was definitely up there. I think
91, was it?
what did Track and Field News have him, Brody?
He was ranked 1 that year.
Yeah.
1 year he was number at
Ahead of-
31. They ranked him
Ahead of
first.
Morselly.
One of those years he was
Well,
the number
it
one
was
ranked
the
runner in the
one
world.
year that he was ranked
Wow.
here.
He was.
To Morselli.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which was quite neat. Like to
That's
take
very-
down this number one runner in the world, and I mean, lovely guy, know, and honestly, he ran like 7:42 or something the next week.
Yeah.
Like it was just that he was, hey, you take it as it comes in the sport, and he fronted up, and I was on the right end of the win that day.
So one race that me and Rhodey always love talking about. We want to hear about this one. The infamous clash with Kramer, aka Robbie Johnson, at the smoke freeze in 92 of 1500.
Yes. You got seen that the legendary photo of it.
The legendary photo.
Goliath versus Goliath.
Tell us what happened, because there were rumors that there was rumors of a singlet pull.
No,
With 100 to get no,
no,
that didn't
it was
happen?
never a singlet pull. It was more. It was more
It was a
that
clash of the Titans, though, wasn't it?
I got past him. That was
Yeah.
the worst thing about it. I got past him and he passed me again. It's
like
in
El-
the
we-
last 10 meters. It's like, man,
Algorithm
'cause I just
like that.
tied up. Yeah, I just tied up.
We did enjoy particularly that there's the clip on you can find on YouTube to this day where you were you and John, obviously it was your sort of coronation and you had to sort of pre-arrange the interview, but Robbie won, so Robbie had the interview and you kind of bumped him out of the way after a while.
You were in the background of the shot. You were like, Robbie's like, Robbie was like, yeah, really good out there, man. Phil's like,
Phil was more,
Yeah.
get me on here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was a great race. I mean, you had some great runs in Auckland as well. Was it like 93? You did the 5K there, 13:30.
Yeah,
That's
was that
actually the one that-
92 or 93.
I don't know.
can't
Well, you tell me.
remember, yeah.
But
Well,
that's the one
Yeah.
we've got in the race there. You passed Pallone with like
Oh yeah, he gave me a slap on the back.
50
I went by him.
50 meters to go,
he
and
was
you
like-
cross the line.
Yeah, he was like he had a wee way to go.
It was like a good Nike kit back then.
It
too,
was
by
a
the
good
way.
Nike kid. They really looked after me. They really did. They were my sponsor from 1990 actually until 2001, I think. 11
Awesome.
years. Yeah.
All right, so then 92, we just talked about it, because the one thing that misses from your really incredible resume is obviously the Olympic Games.
That was a joke last night at my daughter's wedding
Oh, was it?
about how she wasn't going to be an
geez.
Olympian now.
That's
Like join my club.
that sounds like a raw thing, but we've got to ask you.
Everyone laughed.
because
Everyone laughed.
because you've nearly got the full set. Like I said, you've got this amazing resume. But what did you think was your biggest? Was it 92? That was really or 96? What was the Olympics that you really
92 was the year that I
over
ran
5K?
5K like 8 times and ran 13:30, 31, 30,
And what was the standard?
32, 28 or something.
Oh,
20.
no.
Oh, it might have been 25 actually.
Right.
And I didn't make it. And it sucked because I tried it in all different ways, like going ballistic over 3K. I think I went 750 low in one of them and just disintegrated and then went slow and kicked home. So it's but just the disappointment of not making the Olympics. But that's a window, it's a 4-year window.
Yes.
And if you're chasing a time, it's very tough on guys that aren't in the top 20 in the world. If you're in the top 20 to 50 in the world, it's a really hard game as a
that's a great
sport.
point.
Yeah. And the standards are made for excellence. So what are they, top 32 in the world or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got to be living in that top 20 space regularly to make the game so that the actual standard isn't an issue, and then you can go there and race and not just be a participant.
Yeah.
And you're probably born, Phil, 10 years too late as well, because if you'd run at the level you did 10 years earlier before the advent of EPO and everything went crazy, it would have been a different game.
Yes. And and I'm happy to talk long hard about EPO and what it did to a lot of running and around at the time. Well,
all right, okay.
I was there in '93 watching those
Unleash
Chinese women run around, not breathing through their
That
mouths.
wasn't EPO, that was caterpillar juice, Phil.
True. Whatever that was. Anyway, they were definitely on stuff, but it wasn't. It was just the start of it.
They were, because didn't Wang Junse and a bunch of the other athletes sign some documentation years later accusing Ma Junren of doping them, and he used to do other wild stuff. Like, it was effectively he got Ma Junren wouldn't do well in 2025. No, he used to take them out to the Gobi Desert, leave them there, and make them run home if they hadn't done enough training. Yeah, not the Gobi Desert, but he'd take them
wherever they were in China.
Well,
that was pretty rough.
Well, here's actually, it's a good one, because you were, obviously around late 8. This is very similar, I guess, track to, say, Greg LeMond in cycling, right? Like, LeMond talks about the moment that he knew that something had drastically changed in the peloton in pro cycling.
You mentioned someone earlier, right? A certain Stefan Frank, and I don't want to
tell the story.
Speak ill of the dead.
That's okay. That's fine.
He died at 47.
Tell the story.
And he was a little bit older than me, and I'm now 60. So he died a while ago. I can tell you, I was beating him up over the hills down in Whakatane when he stayed with me for a month over Christmas.
Yeah.
And a year later, 18 months later, he was 4th in the world champs.
13:02.
Yeah. And that was hard to believe.
Right.
Just watching it and whatever was going on. And I have friends of ours, which I won't mention names, that stayed with him in Germany, and he was talking about going to the doctors and stuff like that. And I don't know. That stuff you just look at and go, was the guy good enough to run that fast or whatever? But it's kind of,
don't you, Phil?
yeah,
you kind of know. It'd be like you and me, Jason, that year when I was going to come and join you over in Germany. If all of a sudden I start smoking you, you'd be like, okay, this doesn't quite add up.
We get into like a British Miles Club race, and you run like 1:45.8. I'm like, shit, I've been trying to do that for the last life. I've been trying to do that for the last 4 years. Where does this come from?
This guy sucks.
But no, that is you. I see you were really around in that transition period, because you were running in Europe at that point. And this is another awesome thing too. Like, what was that like for you running in Europe? Because you were, you and I were similar in this degree.
Yeah.
I never ran in a lot of super big events. I was pretty lucky, just through circumstances, connections. I managed to get into, a few Golden League meets here and there, but not a lot.
I was kind of the same though.
Yeah, but
we were.
Exactly. So what was that like running in the European circuit? You were running like a lot of those Finnish meets and Swedish meets.
Oh, yeah, we were, because we were Kiwis, we were big stars there.
Yeah.
I was more known in Sweden than I was in New Zealand, actually.
Probably.
Yes, I couldn't believe it.
Didn't little kids used to stop you on the street?
Oh, over there, yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, it was amazing. Honestly, in the track
people stop me and Shane on the street now and ask if we're the guys from the Track Stitch podcast. But
that's fair enough. Hey, there's millions and millions of people listening to this.
I know. No, that's cool. What was that like on the circuit?
Look, honestly, the first years we went there, I went with John, and he had a crew of people. Andy Campbell, you remember him? Peter O'Donoghue came the first year. There was John Bowden. He's now
Yeah.
a selector.
Brother of
Yeah.
great cricketing umpire Billy Bowden.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he is. Lovely guy. And we just toured around Finland and Sweden. Well, mainly Sweden, actually. And initially, we actually went to like Czechoslovakia and places like that. And
Awesome.
that was fun because that was actually still part of the Soviet Union then, I think.
Wow.
So, yeah, there was a lot of change went on over that time. I think 1988 was the first time I went.
Yeah.
And it was just eye-opening. But the good thing about it was it actually hardened us up as runners and made us realise there was a world outside of New Zealand.
Yeah.
And that you need to be exposed to it to find out how good you're going to be.
Yeah, it's a great point.
And, we really, really enjoyed it. Well, I enjoyed it because I actually just loved the cut and thrust of racing and training just to get ready for the races. And John was very good at that time with me, and I actually moved to him the next year, 2 years later, after the 90 Commonwealth Games to coach me because I moved to Auckland. So that was a soft transition into him coaching me. But I got to see firsthand what kind of coach he was without being coached by him, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And he was a lovely guy.
Of course. No, he was.
He was a top, absolutely top draw.
Your partnership with John and doing those high profile races, and you had the magazines and NZ Runner, you had the VO2 Max, and no one's done it since. You put a lot of passion into not only your own racing, but bringing those guys like young Hamish Thorpe when he came through, and Sprats and all those guys when they came back from the scholarships and all of that. You're always to be found at that
Carl Jackson.
Yeah, Carl Jackson,
Reece Buck.
that domain grandstand car park, and the fact you had the profile and you did you put a lot into it, and you got out what you put in, didn't you? In terms of it was more than just your sport; it was really a way of life for you in the 90s.
It was. Didn't make any money out of it, just saying. But it was fun to have it and to do it, and it was passion for me. It was a nice way to make a little bit of money to live on, but it was a little bit like running.
Yeah, but mate, it was a doff of the cap to a bygone era where now everything is just about how much value or money you can extract out of something. Whereas it was actually, remember when those guys took over the VO2 and they didn't click how there was the total lack of commensurate remuneration for the actual effort and passion you had to put into producing that product, because there was no money in it, as you know, no real money, but there was so much love had to go into it, and people actually loved it. Like, it was an awesome product.
Yeah, it was cool.
Honestly, it was done with a lot of passion.
It was.
And it was classy, and I certainly thought that we produced something that was world class. Actually,
It was great. We loved it.
The only thing is that New Zealand's such a small country. If it was in the States, it would have kicked ass. It would have been up there with a lot of really great sports magazines.
Agree.
Especially
like
now,
Illustrated
Phil, with
and
all the worldwide boom.
Yeah.
It's finally cool. I mean, I was a loser at school when I used to run. I used to see you running with your shorts down the road, and people would throw eggs at you and all. I see these same grammar boys out there running now, and I go, wait a minute, I thought you're a loser if you go running.
Yeah, no, it's running's a great sport, and it's definitely a resurgence in it, and you'll see it helps having the Sam Ruthe and people like that running well, and having your high jump world champion and
steeplechase,
Geordie Beamish, and the 1500 indoors as well.
Yeah,
just having those sort of quality runners, world class runners winning things, and high jumpers and throwers and so forth, just lifts the sport. I mean, we're a serious sport now. For medals by Sports New Zealand standards.
Yeah.
And that's great for the sport. And if you have a look at the circuit that we have now, there's a lot of opportunity for the young ones to run. Probably 8 really good, not world-class meets, but certainly quality New Zealand meets where they get competition. They bring in Australians and, the good old mile down in Wanganui. Both men's and women's is still great. There's always a sub 4 minute mile there, it's
Which you did as well too. That was later in your career, was it? 98. You went there and ran 358.4, 358.
I actually ran 359.5 or 3 when it was grass. The last
Did you?
race on it. Yeah.
Oh,
And it was
That's
actually
awesome.
It was the 100th sub 4 minute mile in New Zealand.
Oh,
There was just a little bit of trivia. If you find a little bottle top, it was on the bottle top. You know, the old DB
yeah.
trivia, sports trivia.
That's awesome.
I didn't even know that. Someone
You
dug that
so hold
up
on. Phil Clode ran the 100th sub 4 mile in New Zealand. It was on the
on the Wanganui grass
On the-
track
oh my
before
God.
they put in the Ricketan. Yeah,
awesome.
and turned it into a 400 meter
Hey,
track.
do you know what? Here, this I've just figured this out. You must be the only man in New Zealand that ever ran sub 4 at the famous Cook's Gardens on both the grass and the tartan surface here.
You could be right. Well, I'll have to bring that up with
Who are we going to check that with?
Alex or
McNabb.
who
Alec
runs the-
McNabb?
Yeah, Alec McNabb.
No, we'll just get there. We'll get
You'll be
the
able to find
we'll
out.
get the legal and research team afterwards to we'll get them onto it to validate that one. That's a
Yeah,
good one.
That could be true actually.
All right. Hey, should we take a quick break? Go have another Coke Zero, a glass of water, and then get back and maybe we'll talk a little bit about the recent New Zealand. If I say recent, it was literally today. Secondary schools and some of that stuff. What do you guys reckon?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, guys, back in a second. Okay, back on the Track Stitch podcast with New Zealand running legend, Phil PC Clode. PC, we just had a chat in our little intermission, what we're going to do here. And we're going to ask you just a few questions about some of the legends that you ran against in your career. Who were the most memorable guys? Who was like just somebody, were you scared of anybody? Who was someone that you were just like, oh my gosh, I'm running against this guy? Or like,
Well,
the floor's yours. You must have run against some legends, right? Did you ever run against?
The biggest legend was JW.
Yeah, tell
John
us about
Walker.
that.
Very intimidating
Yeah.
in any race. He owned the track. And hey, you got to admire it because he was an Olympic champion and a world record holder. So he kind of deserved it in a way.
Of course.
And of course we gave him respect and the whole thing. And it's quite hard because you're also learning from someone like that. So
Right.
as a young athlete, you're going, wow, look at this guy.
Yeah.
He monsters the track, like you just don't get in his way. And you always gave John a bit of room and you're a hard man to beat. Definitely a hard man to beat.
What about overseas guys over in Europe? Did you ever run against like Ondieki, Jobers Ondieki?
Yes, I did. I ran in Lausanne 1 year and this was quite tough actually because he was going for a world record and
Over 3 or 5?
5 and it went like 7:45, 7:48 through 3K and I was on the train and honestly there was probably 4 or 5 guys walked off the track after 3K because it was just so quick.
And the world record then was still Oita at 12:58, right?
Yeah,
That would have been like 91 or 92.
Yeah, Ondieki ran 13:02 that night, 13:01, so he got very close to the world record. But I was in the home straight. Like,
There you go.
in the home straight as he's lining up to do the last 150 and the
Yeah.
crowd was going nuts, as you could imagine, because they wanted him to break the world record. It is disconcerting, to say the least, having a guy run you down. And I was still running all right. I was 45 seconds down the road,
Wow.
behind him, and I was watching my back. And that's how
Wow.
scary it is. And not only that, the crowd could cheer with him. And the crowd. was
You could
getting
hear them
close.
coming?
Yeah. It was quite unnerving. And you're tired too, I wasn't going to step off because I had black singlet on, New Zealand singlet on, and
Really?
I was not going to step off the track.
No way.
Yeah. So that was one. Probably the funniest guy, and I met him before he became famous. And we were running in a meet called in Turku in Finland.
In
the
Finland, yeah.
Paavo
Nurmi Games,
And I actually won the 5K there. Did a big break at like 3K and put the hammer down and won the race, the 5K. And this little guy from Morocco won the 1500.
Scar.
Yeah, coloured. And from then on, we were mates.
Really?
Yeah, we were just having a beer in the And
that's awesome.
He used to come up to me and all sorts of things, and I'd see the big wad of cash he got if he broke a world record. Like he broke the 2-mile world record, and we were sitting having breakfast. We were just having a yarn.
Yeah.
And Jos Hermans comes in with this wad of cash in this envelope, and he starts counting them, going like, "Holy shit, you made that much last night!"
I remember
It
you
was
telling
like
me,
far
Phil,
out, man.
I remember you telling me that Scar was complaining to you about the EPO stuff, and this is what you told me when I was a spring chicken, looking up to the likes of yourself and Buncey and Robbie Johnson and all these, mythical figures of our Jason, my childhood. And I remember you telling me that Scar was getting a bit upset because he thought all these guys were doping when the record went apoplectic and sort of the
Yeah, well, I was-
90s. Because he only never ran that quick, Scar. He ran 13:01, didn't he? And I can't remember what he ran.
might
for
have
10.
broken. He might have broken. Well, he was the Olympic champion.
He was.
He would have run 27 lows.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was right at the start of the EPO era.
He was,
'cause
but he
that's what it
never
was.
ran. He never ran those times when Gebb and Turgad and
yes.
it all ran. Sort of took it into the 1240s and the mid to low 2630s.
he was
He
never
was sort of around the same 13-minute barrier, the 27-minute. He was the last of the guys to where it didn't just fall off a precipice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, he, of course, because I knew him and I was a mate. Like a year later, he
Yeah.
was winning the world cross country in Arx-Laban.
Yes.
And it was freaky because, we would have a beer together.
Yeah.
Like that was the thing is.
Yeah, that's
he-
cool though. A
he's
lot of
cool guy,
guys are just
like
normal dudes anyway,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
like,
yeah.
they seem like they're.
They are, they are.
Well, it's like
funny as.
it's like my story with Kip Keita, right? Like I had that amazing moment with Wilson Kip Keita in 2004, and you would
That's right,
never
yeah.
think ever that a guy like that would talk to you until you actually do talk to them, and you realize that they're actually dying to meet guys like us that just want to hang out
Yeah.
and treat them like normal people. So that makes a lot of sense.
And that's right. I think it was it wasn't Al Garisha, it was actually before Al Garisha.
More Sally, Nuruddin,
Sally.
yeah.
No, he's a little guy, like really
Yeah,
little,
tiny.
and tiny little guy. And he was having breakfast, and I just sat down and had a yarn.
Yeah.
We were just talking like normal people.
Yeah.
Because he was running a mile that night, and I think I was running 3K, and you hang with them. You're not best mates, but
No.
you just hang with them and get to know a little bit about them. and
PC,
how they
when I asked you who was the best guy you ever ran against, I thought you were going to bring up the 800 meters from the Athletic Super Provincials over in Bays, where you and I probably had our only head-to-head over 800 meters. Do you remember that race?
No, sorry, bro.
Do you not remember that race where the gun went off and literally the heaven? I mean, when I say literally, I mean it for real.
that really-
it went
yeah.
straight pouring
Yeah.
down. There's an amazing photo of us after the race.
Yeah.
And for all the viewers at home, like myself, guys like me and Shane, but in particular myself, we were little shits when we were younger athletes. There was an incident
Yes.
prior over steeplechase when PC put his neck on the line and I was making a bit of
My
fun
one
of
and only steeplechase.
one and only steeplechase, and I was making a bit of fun of him. And then what actually happened is I put my foot in my mouth because his wife
Kate.
that just got married
Yes.
was standing about 5 feet away from me, and she put me on the spot, and I was just
Because he
like-
was bagging me out.
I was.
Yeah.
But so what happened is we run this race, and I'll tell you, I think I told you this, but it's a great story for the viewers. All 37 of them. What actually happened was we went into this race and I saw that you were on the start line, and I was terrified because I thought that you might have found out that it was me. And I thought that you might come up and I don't know what I thought. But anyway, we ran this race, and afterwards, I'll never forget this because this is kind of a cool moment, because it kind of made me feel stink as a little shithead kid. But after the race, obviously I knew who you were, and I could read like New Zealand Runner and all the results, and I was like, man, that's Phil Clode. So we run this 800. It obviously wasn't your event. It was a little bit later in your career. I think you were just doing it to
I
help
was
out the
doing-
team.
Yeah.
So I ran quite well. I think I finished maybe second in that race. Dean Shen won it. And afterwards you came over to me, right? And I was like, oh my God, this guy's going to he's going to be like, I heard what you said about me and Hamilton, you little shit, pull your head in. And he actually, you know what he did? He put out his hand. He was like, great. He said, great run, young buck. And I was like, oh. So he didn't find out that it was me, and he was really nice to me. And I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have been bagging him out. But that's actually a true story. So it was such a good moment for me because I was like, oh my God, Phil Clode, Phil Clode, like big name in New Zealand running, guy I look up to. I'm from Napier, you're from Auckland, and I was like, oh. So I thought you were going to say
Phil,
that was
That's such a stitch.
So we actually walked my dog in the domain this morning, and he sort of bagged you again. I'm gonna grass him up.
No.
For this. No, not really. But what he did say though is, I said, to how many records could Sam Ruthe conceivably break in the schools? I said, I don't think he could break the 447X, although you never know after today. I said he obviously 8:15. 3, of course, on his air. I said he could run the steeples, and Jay said, no, he might bloody blow up like PC did when that other great miler when he went for it. I said, fair.
No, to be fair, that's true.
Well, no, just because it is a difficult one. It is one of those ones where, it's so much more difficult because you've got that anaerobic component every time you jump over the hurdles, and you
got
just
to actually practice.
You got to practice. That's tough.
Yeah.
And I know that, whatever. All right.
I left it alone. My one and only.
So, okay. Speaking of, we've just brought his name up, Sam Ruthe. Of course, the New Zealand Secondary Schools Championships just rounded out today. They were down in Hawke's Bay. And one of the questions from a guy that does actually watch our podcast every week, Swanee, last week, and I shouted out to Swanee at the end of the pod. I said I was going to answer this question with Shano here in New Zealand because it seemed fitting to me. And he actually asked the question, he was like, what do you think the odds are that Richard Potts's 1,500 metre record, National Secondary Schools 1,500 metre record from 1989 would be broken this weekend? And I thought, I wasn't quite sure on the timing. I wasn't sure if it was like the weekend after. It turned out it was today. This would have been a great pod to do had the final been today, and that was just the, like the shot where he's going to take the record. It turns out, of course, that he doesn't even bother going for the record in the final. He just goes for the heat. Yesterday runs 3:38.62.
Yes.
Right, which is way under my PR for 1,500, even though I didn't do a lot of them. Way under your PR for 1,500 meters, and the guy is still only 16 years old. And I would also say, of course, he did run 1:46.81 today in the 800 meters, which is a time only about 7/10 of a second slower than my PR.
Yeah.
Not even that, about 6/10 actually. And a time that I only ran faster than 5 times in my life, and he's 16 years of age. So what, Phil, what on earth is going on here? Where is Sam Ruthe? You're a coach of young athletes, so you had athletes running there at the National Secondary Schools today. What's your take on what we saw today or this weekend from this guy?
Oh, he's an absolute freak of nature. Breeding, is running all the way through his family.
Yeah.
So it's just natural.
Yeah.
He's a really developed young fella, and he obviously is handling the work involved to do what he's doing and coping with it quite well. Helps that he's got another Sam with him who's world class, Sam Tanner.
Yeah.
And they're feeding off each other. Plus the group around them. They've got a big group around them in Tauranga.
Right.
Craig's doing a great job with them.
Exactly.
And, he can handle the work, and that's the key, is if you can handle the work, because I've seen some of the sessions, they're working out pretty hard.
Yep.
They're not big mileage guys. They're not doing anything mileage-wise, but they're certainly working out hard. And honestly, he's been good for a while, and now it's just another level now. It's just crazy. Like that, is that a faster 800 than Sam Tanner? Is he faster than Sam Tanner now?
Oh, good question. I'm not sure. I don't think so.
No, he is.
Tanner's definitely run 146 though, right?
Didn't he run that at Nationals when the record went down?
I think he's a 147 runner.
Hold on. We're going to fact check this right now. You talk about something. I'm going to check it.
I think he's like a 147.7 or 147.3.
No.
No.
Is this an on-air bet, Rody?
Yeah.
I think he's a 46 late. and
maybe
I
46
think
late.
it might have been done in Europe, but he was
I'll bet you another
47.
burger dog at the turn, Jane. Jerry.
But yeah, I mean,
I've won a lot of bets against Jason.
Turn it up.
found it.
A lot.
I've got it here. He has run. God, this World Athletics profile stuff is terrible compared to the way it used to be. Oh, give yourself an uppercut, Shane Ruthe. 146.14.
Really?
Yes. No, he's pretty quick. He ran a pretty good time. I don't know if it was in that race you were talking about, Phil, like that national.
No, I don't think it was, because I think he ran like 47.
Yeah,
late
he
in
got
that, 'cause he was
smashed
3 or
in that
4
one.
seconds behind
Preston.
Preston that day.
But anyway, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. So there you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I don't think it's going to last long, because
What?
his time,
Who?
his PB, Sam Ruth's
Oh my
PB.
gosh. Yeah, actually that's
he time trialed it.
yeah. So that's a good one. What do we were talking about it earlier when we were talking about it all day. Like if you put Sam Ruthe performance from today, right, into, Melbourne Grand Prix. Honestly, 800 or 1500.
He might be
What's he doing?
Peter Bowl type level.
Wow.
You know, like
He's not going to run 143, but he could
no, but
legit
like
run.
legitimately 44 or 45.
Yeah.
He could hold the New Zealand record in a year's time,
Wow.
which is scary, right? Like,
But
but that's how talented he is. Like
Yeah.
Snell,
Yeah,
Walker, Snell,
exactly.
a whole lot of them, and he was 16.
Man.
Yeah.
So
I think the leap to that performance today from the level he's been at is a more unbelievable or scarcely believable jump to make than say from where he ran today after having a 3:38 in his legs to then get to say 44 mid to high. That it's not the delta is actually disproportionately lower than the delta to come from a 150-ish guy to 146 on his own at the secondary schools with no paces.
Yeah, definitely. The faster you run, the harder it gets, obviously.
yeah.
So the chances are he'll do something pretty good.
What do you reckon he's going
to? I'm not going to put any restrictions on.
So
I think he's world class already.
He's doing the night of fives. Our good mate Paul Hamlin. They've got the. Have you got guys doing that? The night of fives up in base.
Yeah, we'll have some.
So he's going to go.
5K.
He's going after.
I've got one.
He's going after the 5K there. I've been told against
5K.
Yep.
Oh,
He's going to 5K, and I think Cam Myers' time might be 13:25. Does that sound about right? It's 17.
probably. Yeah. I mean.
Anyway, I know that he's going after that.
Honestly, I don't know why they're doing the 5K. Like, I just don't.
13.
why is
Jakob 13:35. So he's going up to 13:35. What do you reckon? Are we going to see that go down? I mean, you would know because you ran fast. You're the only one here that ran faster than that. He's run a 3:38, which is basically the equivalent of a 3:56 mile.
Yeah.
He's run 7:56 for 3K, but that was also last year. So honestly, based off what we saw this weekend, he's in 7:50 shape right now.
Yeah, a little bit around there, and I think 13:30 well. In the
Wow.
car. Like if he's running 7:50, then
That's going to be
probably,
amazing.
Yeah.
Are you going to be there?
Yes.
You should do.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I've been at most of the stuff bar this weekend.
Yeah.
Witnessed what he's run. Like we put that mile on for him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was fantastic.
Cool.
I don't know about 13:30s, and that's
Really?
massively bullish on Sam Ruthe. But I tell you why.
Might be his age.
Well, no, because he's like, forget the athlete. Look at the profile, and if you look at him running 146 and running 3:38, he is a very fast 3K type guy. But like yourself, Phil, you said it really started to bite and kick in beyond 3. Jakob Ingebrigtsen's the same. His 5K, yes, he can kick down like Barry used to, but it's and you got to remember he did lose to that Wagner guy who he destroyed, who could not live with him today in the 1500. I'm not saying he can't run.
I don't think they're even in the same field now.
I agree, but he did beat him in that race. outlasted him at the end. I'm just saying I wouldn't be shocked if he ran, for example, and it'd still be incredible, 13:45 or 13:43. And you know what? That may even be a good thing for his upside long term, because if he's already developed to a 13:30 guy and he's running 1:46, that means he's probably got a little bit less given him in terms of bringing the 8 down if he's already using 13:35 strength. So
I love that logic, Rody, except today I predicted him to run 1:49.21.
Hey, I predicted him to run quicker. I got him at 1:48.4 today, and I thought I was being a little bit sensational, because I always take Jason's a little bit cynical, so I always try and be a little bit overly optimistic. So this guy's going to smash the record. And I was watching it down the straight, and I was like, I really want him to run fast, but at the same time, I want to win the bet, so I slowed down a little bit.
Well, you still won because you were way under,
Fastest,
but. Yeah, I mean that's going to be something incredible. And so anyway, like your athletes today, how did they get on?
We had 3 in the 1,500 meter final in the girls.
On the girls,
yeah.
nice.
Some of them are leaving, and one is off to UNC. In the States next August. Nina Chalmers.
Congratulations! That's a good achievement to get someone into a college. You were saying that they don't do a lot of overseas recruiting, as with freshmen?
Her and Joe Martin.
Joe Martin, not Smokey. Joe Martin, but Joe Martin.
Joe,
yeah,
from Wellington. He's been recruited as well, and they're the first 2 overseas athletes that have been recruited into this freshman year, which is the first year in the States.
Yeah,
so youngsters. First time UNC has ever gone outside of America to recruit.
Wow.
And they picked 2 Kiwis, 1 girl and 1 boy, which is amazing.
Not bad. And you coach one of them.
Yeah, well, I've honestly, with the country, the way student loans are and stuff like that.
Yeah, makes sense.
The kids that I coach all have the ambition of going to the States on a scholarship. And to be fair, I totally understand it and will help those kids go that way, because one, it's prestigious. 2, they get the education paid for, and 3, they get treated like full-time athletes, paid full-time athletes. And the deals they get now are amazing.
Yeah.
Like amazing. I can't believe just the scholarship level, it's just insane. And looked after.
And NIL potential, that kind of stuff.
But also, Phil, for a lot of these young people, running, as you've said, is a great buttress or support for all the principles of hard work and then peaking for something and getting all nervous. I was talking to someone the other day saying that when they do like a work presentation compared to lining up with that, when that gun was about to go, this person, I can't remember exactly what event, was an ex-athlete of some, of some repute, saying compared to doing that, it actually feels really easy, like, doing work stuff. And a lot of people who haven't had that experience, but also like to get that education, get into a good school, travel the world, learn to grow up. And a lot of these athletes end up doing, like someone like Zion Armstrong, Jason, in your industry, extremely well in life from that advantageous start they've been given. So why would you not take that opportunity?
Look, my daughter included.
Yes, your daughter is another guy.
Yeah, so she got a master's in psychology, so she's a psychologist now, back in New Zealand, looking for a job. But she went to the States on a scholarship. The running wasn't so great, but the experience she got and the life lessons and the growing up and all of that stuff, she got married last night.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations,
well done.
man.
And
Very cool.
And marrying an American, and they're gonna.
Wow.
Well, she's coming back, but the thing is that they're gonna be New Zealanders, and the thing is that the quality of the people that are being produced through the running and the scholarships and the whole thing are wonderful New Zealanders. We've got some really great kids that there's a lot in the world to be happy about when you see them.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Jason's going to get married to an American too when he finally gets around to
get my. Actually, but I think I can get my citizenship. I mean,
have you got your green card yet?
I've had my green card for many years. I've actually had it low enough where I can become a citizen if I want to, and vote, and
that could be scary,
and pay taxes for the rest of my life to the American government. We'll see about that. One of our big listeners, obviously, It's not. Well, we thought it was Sammy Maloney until we played golf with him the other day, and he told us he hadn't been listening for the last, like 7 or 8 episodes. He promised to catch up. But one of our listeners is obviously a close friend of ours. Got to ask you about this Stu Kerr incident of. No, I'm not going to ask you about the Stu Kerr.
Do it, Kerr.
But would you have given him one?
No.
No. Jason will edit this out.
But of course,
Not going to edit it out. Just kidding.
No.
Just kidding. I know.
Stewie's a great guy. Come on, boys. Now that's a stitch up.
That is
It was. It's the track stitch.
He'll love it. He'll love that.
Yeah.
I think. This was awesome, PC. Thank you so much. This was. I'm only here for a few days, and I said this to you last time. There's very few people that I reach out to that I really enjoy seeing again.
I enjoy seeing you too.
Yeah, it's been awesome. And to see here with Shano, it's just like it's bringing me back to those awesome moments, like running the domain. When I was at uni and going down to the cafe and just talking nonsense over flat whites and what was it like omelets?
Yeah.
Omelets forever. It was that's a very good memory for me. So it's like it
was good times. So.
Yeah, and the point is like this happened on such short notice. So I really appreciate you coming in. This was awesome. Anything else?
No,
while we're here,
I think it's great to do it. And a few people have said to me, "Why do you do this?" And I said, "What's the reason?" I said the beautiful thing is there is no point to it.
Yes,
and that's why it's fun.
Actually
and
really fun.
If there's 6 other people around the world who
Right.
are nerdy track fans and get terrible in jokes, then we've done a good job.
Yeah. No, this was great.
Excellent.
Once again, Phil Clode, one of the, it's tough. In New Zealand, we've had such a rich history of awesome runners, and it is very difficult to get to that top of the tree, particularly in the middle distances. You're talking guys like Lovelock and Hellberg and Snell and Walker. These are some of the guys that are, Willis. They are all-time greats in the sport, irrespective of where they come from.
Yeah.
So, it's sort of that next tier down. I think you'd probably agree that we're sort of sitting in, but so important to, youngsters growing up. You were super important to us in our career, that you were around and you were visible. And I know you've given so much back to the running community, not just here in Auckland, but in New Zealand, through the mag, through the events, through being involved in coaching. So, you are, like, at least for me, and I know Shane feels the same way, you're one of the greats and you're a massive part of us growing up. Our sort of love of the sport growing up. So it's
Clody's a legendary character of the sport. Who's a great adage I once heard is when you leave this planet, you want to leave your a footprint bigger than your foot.
Yeah,
and you've definitely done that, Clody. You've left an indelible mark on the athletics community in Auckland and New Zealand, and now you're continuing to pay it forward with the young people. So it's it warms our hearts seeing us down on the domain on a Saturday morning with the youngsters like old Pallone and old Davies, and that used to stand around with us. It's cool, mate. So good on you.
It's part of life. I think life evolves. You start off and you take from the sport, and then at some point you got to go, oh, I really need to get back to this.
Yeah,
and that's my motto. And this is the part of my life where I'm giving back to it. Plus, I love it. I enjoy it.
Yeah,
young people keep you young.
Yes.
Like, who wants to get old?
Yeah.
It sucks getting old.
I
want to be 20.
The last time you told me this story, I don't know if you remember this, but you gave me the rundown. We were walking back up Carlton Gore Road to the domain, and you'd just been telling me about how you really wanted to give back to the community and how it was important that people knew who you were. And then there was this guy, completely random. I'll never forget this moment. Judging by your look, you've forgotten it.
Probably.
Yeah, and we had no idea who he was, but the time you just finished this, and as we walked by, this guy goes, "Hey, Clody," and
Jason was dark. He came home and he was like, Clody was telling me that we're talking about Blinko and a few of the others that got off to the States, and you said to him, mate, I had a profile around here that's more important than any bloody stuff at the States. And Jason's like, whatever, Phil. And then you said you were walking along the road and some guy just happened to Murphy's Law to recognise you. Go, hey, Clody, how are you? And you turned to him and went, see, mate.
That's a true story. That's such an all-time great story. That I think sums up that just summed up everything. It was kind of more towards like I'd just about finished uni and was going to move on. So unfortunately, I wasn't there to keep going down to May, but I'll never forget that moment. It was like such an all-time great one. Yeah.
The amount of laps around the domain we made.
That was fun.
Wore some holes in the grass.
It was, yeah, we did. It was fun. All right. I think that is probably all we've got for everybody. We hope that you enjoyed listening to the great PC, Phil Clode, the man who is part of the Track Stitch band montage. Every week you're a part of the Track Stitch, PC.
Believe it.
Yeah, but you still loved it.
Legend.
Absolutely. Absolutely loved it.
Phil, again, thank you for coming on. This was great. And guys, stay tuned because I'll be back in the US next week. Dale, you'll be available for the pod?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
From HQ.
From HQ, I'll be back in the satellite office in Portland, Oregon. But that is all we got for you. Hope you enjoyed the podcast, everybody. Peace.
Glad you got to get the fingers right.